Hey guys, this week's episode is brought to you by buffalosbigdeal.com. What's the big deal? It's free. Their deals get you 50% off your favorite local places. No need to pay for a gift certificate. Simply download, print, and display your voucher when you visit. So head to buffalosbigdeal.com after this podcast. Today's guest is Teddy Bryant, the sous chef of Lloyd Taco Truck. Teddy came down, talked about his introduction to the culinary world, working around the country, and how he ended up at Lloyd. Let's go.
I was going to ask you, I mean, it seemed like everywhere I went this summer, every time I went to the truck, you were on the truck.
Yeah.
Did you just work like nonstop this summer?
Pretty much. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
And we were busy and trying to get the other truck on, and we didn't have the staff that we have now.
Yeah, you guys have been like exploding. It's every time I go on, I feel like I see a new kid back there.
Yeah, I mean, we got, trying to think, like at least four new guys.
Yeah.
2 guys have been there for like a month.
Yeah.
They're like, a lot of guys now are like kind of part-time.
Okay.
And some guys don't even have experience, but that's not even bad, because like,
you could teach them.
It's not like we're doing super fine dining.
Yeah.
We're making burritos and tacos. We just need guys that are willing to learn and do what we ask, and they do a good job, you know?
Yeah, I mean, have you noticed like dudes who have not worked in the food world but are like Lloyd fans that just want to be like part of the food truck thing?
We got a guy that just started, and like he's had cooking experience, but he's been to the truck all the time, and that's like one of the kind of things I was worried about when we posted for jobs on like our Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah,
so we're gonna get people that just like, oh, it's so cool, let's just go do it. It's like, well, it's a lot. Not hard, but it's a lot more intense than you think. You know, it's not just like, let's just show up and make tacos. You gotta prep everything, and do cleaning, and we wash dishes, we clean the truck, we have to unload the truck. You know, we have to go physically buy everything, bring it in, and prepare it, and do everything. It's not like, oh, everything's ready, let's just hand out tacos to people.
Well, yeah, I mean, people only see you guys, and they only see you for like those 3 hours or whatever, and they think like that's the gig.
We work like an 8-hour shift, but we're only serving lunch for like 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, late nights a little longer, but...
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so now that like the weather's starting to cool down, I'm assuming it won't be as hectic as summertime is, or...
That's our struggle right now, is that we need to try to figure out how to, be as, how to make as much money as we did in the summer.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple like that. It's like we're gonna plan on doing me and Chris have been talking about maybe doing some of those dinners.
Oh, okay.
Did you come to one of the tasting events?
No, I got to see the pictures. They looked ridiculous.
Well, yeah, we want to do like, maybe like a dinner, but there's a lot of, you can't just go out and have like a dinner with alcohol and everything.
A lot of
pretty
illegal.
Yeah. So, but we want to do something, maybe even like renting out, one of my ideas was like renting out one of the kitchens, like, I don't know, just the idea off the top of my head was Samples closed on Monday.
Yeah.
We're pretty tight with them. I don't know, just something,
maybe
somewhere we can go in and just do like a dinner.
Pop-up or something.
Like a pop-up dinner, but something not even taco related at all, not food truck.
That would be pretty cool.
Me and Chris both have, pretty extensive background in cooking.
Yeah.
And we could just, do something.
That would be pretty sick.
But yeah, we're doing the Bills games.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah. But I mean, we go to Delaware Park on Wednesday nights, and we were there last night, and it was pretty slow.
Yeah? Like compared to what it was?
Compared to normal. It's kind of hit or miss depending on what's going on there, because it's actually helps us if nothing's going on at the park, because then people can come and have a place to park.
Yeah.
Because usually we barely get a spot, and if we barely get a spot, then there's nowhere for people to park.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, where are we going to park and walk like 3 miles to go get this food?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but like, we're doing, the second truck is, fingers crossed, coming back next. They went to go pick it up today.
Oh, that's good.
A couple other things to be done on it. A lot of renovations have been done to the whole truck.
Wow.
We're getting a mural painted on the side.
No shit.
So after a couple weeks, I think it's going to be like a day-to-day thing where we're going to bring it to him, and he's going to do the mural like over a couple weeks. Wow. Once it's done, that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet.
Just like inside the truck, we put a new refrigerator. I mean, we had like a mom and pop like house refrigerator.
Okay.
That like wasn't even that good in the truck. It worked, but now we're gonna have a commercial fridge in there.
Moving on up, man.
Yeah. Well, we got the truck from Texas, and it was just like so poorly put together.
Oh.
Of like how everything was placed, and just didn't work for us. Like maybe for just like this old Mexican lady who had it, just whatever. But we're pretty busy. And make it functional for us. Change some things around. On the back, we took that big black box off the back.
Yeah, I remember that thing.
Put the generator is gonna be built into the truck. Propane tanks will be strapped on like the new truck.
Damn.
So a lot of changes.
That'll be good, man. That'll be good to see that guy back out there.
Maybe in the summer, number 3's coming.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's all I can say.
You guys are gonna be like Kogi, or Koji, or whatever.
Yeah,
they have like 6 trucks or some crazy shit.
I mean, I don't know what exactly the plans are, but talks of maybe Rochester, or there's a lot of places here that we still can't go with 2 trucks.
Yeah.
We want to look at Niagara Falls, South Towns. People have been begging us to come out there, but it's like,
it's hard to stretch yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Big stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are not getting any slower at all. And you've been with it, I mean, basically from the beginning too, right? Or
yeah, they started in July.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I started in September, so I'm on my 2nd year.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've pretty much been there from the beginning. There's only, besides Pete and Chris, Pat. He's been on the truck. I mean, he was at school mostly last year.
Okay.
But yeah, he stepped up big, and now he's done with school and going in full time. We got a couple other guys. Brad's pretty much.
He's the other. He's the guy with the beard, right?
Yeah. He's pretty much my sous chef almost.
Okay, yeah, because I noticed he's been doing a lot of the cooking and stuff.
So we got a couple shift leaders, and then just role players that come in and do a great job.
Roll some.
Yeah, roll the burritos. And,
roll the burritos.
There's just a lot of things. It's not like crazy, but we need guys that can
need the manpower.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was curious of how you got started in the cooking world, like
in the cooking world.
World, like well, how did you what was your first job? I guess
first job before I moved to Long Island when I was 16.
Okay,
I was living in Hamburg, and my brother was a dishwasher at Route 5 restaurant.
Okay,
and we both wrestled in high school, and he got like a serious neck injury.
Oh,
so they needed someone to fill in at work. So I was like 14 or 15, and it was like right across the street.
Yeah.
And I went over there, started washing dishes.
Nice.
And I kind of had a thing for it, because I never could really place how like I started cooking until like I realized that it was all my grandpa. Really? And like he never really cooked like great meals, but he always cooked breakfast.
Yeah.
Like every Sunday. And we'd wake up and he'd be down there cooking breakfast. So then every time we went to visit him, that's what we looked forward to in the morning.
Yeah.
And then at my house, that's what I did every Sunday. Get my little chef hat on and apron and go make pancakes and eggs and sausage. Nothing, all out of the box stuff, just whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just something I liked. And I used to dress up for Halloween as a little chef.
Really?
Yeah, my mom had an apron with like 3 wooden spoons sewed onto it. And, just like, I don't know, I got into it. And then probably a blessing in disguise, we moved to Long Island.
Okay.
I was kind of hesitant about it.
Yeah.
Didn't like my parents too much about it at the time. I was,
I
was going into my 11th grade year.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucked, but, had to do what's best for the family.
Yeah.
It actually turned out being the best thing for me, because I went and visited the BOCES program here. I wasn't in love with it, but I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then I went to the one on Long Island, and the program there is just ridiculous.
Oh, really?
They had just built a brand new facility. Like, I was the first class in this school.
Oh, geez.
The whole school was brand new, and like the kitchen was like it was better than probably 3/4 of the kitchens in Buffalo.
Jeez.
Everything brand new. Huge range with like, I don't know, probably 50 burners. Jeez. Tons of ovens, everything you could imagine.
It was like literally the perfect setup for you to.
Everything was brand new. The teachers were, they were professional chefs, and they're just so into the kids and teaching us everything. there's a lot of kids that just go there to go there.
Yeah.
And but there was a few of us that were into it.
Like, actually into the idea.
Kids were just going to get out of their school or just to do something.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like, didn't really care. But even the kids that didn't really care, the teachers were like, I don't know how they did it to get these kids to build it, to buy into it. And they, everyone did a good job, but there was a certain few of us that obviously wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I would come home and cook for my family, and I would come home and I'd watch Food Network all night. That's all I did.
Yeah, you just soak it up as much as possible.
Yeah. So my 11th grade year, I started working. My first actual cooking job was in Long Island at a country club as a prep cook.
Oh, okay.
I worked there like on the weekends to start, and then school started, and I was working there, and I would work like ridiculous hours, and it was crazy. Like, I'd go in and prep for lunch, and then stay until like after dinner. Jeez. Like all day long, and it just like started how I work. I'll work all day long. It's pretty crazy.
Did you enjoy like the atmosphere of working in a kitchen?
Yeah.
And like the camaraderie and all that stuff?
I liked it. Yeah, and it was, I don't know, it was just a lot of fun, and I was so passionate about it at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like anything they asked me to do, I would do it,
Nice.
So I would stay all day long, like crazy hours. And then I stayed at the country club for about a year doing prep, and like didn't even really work on like the hotline. Yeah. So I never really cooked too much, except like we did huge banquets obviously at a country club and stuff like that. Then I went and worked at this called the Crescent Beach Club. It was like a catering facility, but also had a dining right on the ocean.
Okay.
In Long Island, and it was pretty awesome. Worked the MU station, and they had like a little wood fire grill for like pizzas.
Really?
I did some of the salad station, stuff like that. Got a taste for it, and then the chef there had a buddy in New York City at Le Cirque 2000.
Okay.
It was in the Palace Hotel.
Okay.
Real French restaurant, and he got me and this other kid to be able to go in there. The other kid ended up getting a job. I was in between the summer of senior year and college.
Yeah.
And so in between my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college, I worked like 7 days a week the whole summer. Just because I was working at the job in Long Island, and then 2 days a week I went into New York City on the train at like 6 a.m. and worked for free at this restaurant, just like peeling potatoes, getting screamed at. Like, I was on the banquet prep.
Yeah.
And we go in there, and this guy was just like a drill sergeant. It was crazy.
It seems
scream at you for nothing.
Yeah, it seems like that was like the old mentality.
Yeah.
Like that, like that's the way to build your chef up, is to literally like break them down.
Well, the head chef there didn't speak a word of English.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like, and like all the sous chefs, I mean, I was only like 17. All the sous chefs were like 24, 25 and have been doing it, and they've been working with this guy. So some of them are cool, some of them are assholes, But I mean, it was a pretty good experience. I didn't even really know, like, I was working there, and like I couldn't really do anything besides like the prep. Yeah. Because it was so way beyond me, what they were doing. And like I would just go up, and like after I was done with the prep for the banquet, sometimes I'd stick around and help them out. Yeah. During their dinner service, and they'd be serving like some of the richest people in New York coming in there. The restaurant actually closed not a couple of years ago. It's not even there anymore, but just watching these guys and just sitting there like, oh my God. And then they'd be like, I'd just be sitting there watching them done, helping them out, and they just start screaming at me for nothing. I'm like, sorry.
I mean, was that like a part where you saw like a different world of culinary? Because I mean, working in a country club, like,
yeah, like at the country club, it's pretty basic, plates like chicken.
Yeah, there's very few
mixed
that
veg and some mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
but the chef I was working for was certified executive chef, just like James.
Yeah, just like James.
Through my high school program, it was the ACF, American Culinary Federation.
Yeah. So
I used to go to these meetings every first Monday of every month with my dad, with all the chefs in town, and it was just like kind of a networking group, and all these guys, most of it was above me, but like just getting foot in the door, meeting these guys, hearing some things, seeing some things, Did a lot of competitions.
Wow. You're serious about this, man. Like you knew at an early age, like this is what you wanted to do.
Like this was like nothing else but it. Like
it's
pretty crazy. Like all my friends, nobody knows what they want to do. Go to community college, screw around, and this and that. It's like boom, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, man, that's and awesome.
Like but like when I worked at the country club with the chef there, he did like at the Javits Center in New York City. They have like the food expo in New York City.
Yeah.
And it was like he would go every year and do like the show plates.
Okay.
So I saw a lot of show plates and how he worked in competitions. He's done a lot of competitions.
Yeah.
So I kind of got an itch for it, and with that, and then through my high school program, there was it's called Skills USA VICA. They do it through the BOCES program.
Yeah.
It's basically like this competition. You need to be in this program to do the competition. And for the culinary field, they have all sorts of fields, like mechanics and cosmetology and all that stuff. But culinary, there's like the county competition, which would be all of Long Island. Yeah. Then if you win that, you go to New York State competition. Okay. You got to win that to go to the national competition. So I was really into it because it was you could win a free scholarship to school.
Oh shit.
And all this stuff, and like. In my head, my parents, if I won a free scholarship to school, which was like $50,000, they were going to buy me a car. So I was like, if I win, I get a car. So like literally I practiced like every day. Went to the New York State. In 11th grade, I did it and got destroyed. And like I was crushed and everything. But the whole
like you weren't expecting like how crazy it would be? Or?
Yeah. And it was like I was so fresh. Yeah. And didn't really know how to cook or anything. So... Then in the senior year, I've literally practiced like every day. My instructor had like pamphlets from years before. He's had a couple of contestants go through. Okay. And so like I just did it over and over and over and over and over, and pretty much beat the New York State competition by like everybody. Like they were blown away. Yeah. So then win that, went to Kansas City for the national competition. Yeah. Excuse me, and took 10th because he had given me, for the past like 10 years, the competition's been exactly the same. Yeah. And I had it down. I could do it and over, and it's like a 10-hour test. You got to like break down a chicken, cut vegetables for a crudité platter in a certain size for all the cuts. You got to make a soup, a salad, a pasta, an entree, and a dessert. All this stuff, and they flipped it. They gave us a loophole, or they changed the competition. Really? So like they were asking, like it was supposed to be like a stuffed chicken leg or something. It ended up being something completely different, which right now I could obviously do. But I was like, oh my god, what the heck is this? This isn't what we did. But I still pulled through. Got 10th.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
It was a good experience. It's probably at the time the worst thing that ever happened that I didn't win. I was crushed.
You thought you got a free car coming, man.
Yeah. So, all this was the goal to go to the Culinary Institute.
Okay. So, I mean, did you were you set on going to the CIA?
Like, I was going there. Like, at first, I wanted to leave high school after 11th grade and go to Johnson & Wales. Okay. Because there was a program where you can go finish your senior year and start on college. Wow. And my instructor talked me out to go to Johnson & Wales. He said, you got to go to CIA. It's the best school. Yeah. And, it was definitely, in my opinion, true. But now looking back and paying every month on the school, I'm like, I literally could have just went to a restaurant and just learned everything that I've learned. Yeah. I mean, it was a great opportunity, don't get me wrong. And teach you the fundamentals. Yeah. And you learn so much. But there's nothing like on-the-job training. Yeah. I
mean, and you're also, with like kids who are also passionate about the same thing.
Yes and no. Some people were.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's so weird that like in my particular class, it was small classes, like 18 kids. Okay. Probably less than 10 of them are still cooking. Really? Yeah. I mean, some of them are like in the front of the house, stuff like that. Yeah. But it's just weird how you spend so much money. Yeah, seriously. But I mean, it happens all the time. Kids go to be... Oh, yeah. Whatever, and they don't do anything with it. Yeah. They're working as a server in a restaurant, making a lot more money, but it's like, what'd you go to school for that for, Exactly. Yeah. So, So I went to the school there, and we had to do an internship program.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and looked at a couple different places, but I ended up choosing Las Vegas. Because my instructor from culinary, high school culinary, had 2 of his students. One of them went to through the same competition process as me.
Yeah. He
was a sous chef at Caesar's Palace.
Okay.
And it was, I think I went in 2005, and in 2004 they won James Beard Best New Restaurant in America.
Jeez.
Yeah. So packed up, so we got to go to internship program for like 21 months. So packed up my room from college, fly out there.
Yeah.
Got like the crappiest apartment in like the worst part of Vegas. And I go into this place, not knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
And I walk in, the first day I walk in, I wasn't even working, I was just going to meet everybody. They're having a photo shoot for Art Culinaire. You ever read that book?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like on the cover and like throughout the whole magazine. And I walk into this place, and it's by far one of the nicest kitchens I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And there's like 30 guys that work there, all, intense. All of them now, probably everybody that was on the hotline when I was working there, they're all chefs, executive chefs, places now.
Jeez.
One of them was, he's the chef at the Aria Hotel in Vegas right now.
Wow.
2 of them are corporate chefs for Michael Mina that travel the world opening restaurants right now. Jeez. It was just crazy. I walk in, and like not even that I didn't know how to cook. I didn't even know what half the stuff was that the produce they were bringing in. Because we were so close to L.A.
Yeah.
And we would get these shipments in these huge, they called them the coffin boxes. They would come in these huge rectangular boxes, look like a coffin. All this stuff that we would call the farmer's market in L.A.
Yeah.
We had a guy that would go pick out all the stuff and ship it to us.
Yeah.
And just opening the box and like looking at some of the stuff, it's like, what the heck is that? Just stuff that I've never seen before. Now, obviously, just different things. And it's like, oh my God, like every day was like ridiculous.
That's awesome.
And I remember my first day, they're just like, we need shallots and garlic chopped, super, and there was like a super fine way to do it. Yeah. And it had to be perfect and everything. And it took me like forever. And I just remember 2 guys looking around the corner like, this kid's never going to make it. And,
was there any sense of doubt in you in those moments, or
not a sense of doubt that they were going to like fire me or anything, but it was just like, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
It's like, this is ridiculous. But turned out to be amazing. The guy, his name's Adam Sobel and Gerald Chin, they were culinary students probably 5 years ahead of me, the same high school. Yeah. So we knew the chef, our chef instructor, got us all hooked up together. And he was like a mentor to me, like everything. He taught me like everything. But I would work there literally like from 9 a.m. till 1 a.m. every day. I was the first one there, last one to leave. I had to clean everything.
Was that by choice by you, or was that like what you were expected?
I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. I just did it because I thought that's what should be done. To go in early,
Yeah.
But I would get yelled at for things I didn't even know how to do. Like, I'd be over here, they yell at me, something happened over here. Like, they weren't like super serious about it, but I was like, what the heck are you doing? Come clean this up.
Yeah.
I had to clean the walk-in every day. We had 2 different walk-ins, one for fish. Had to re-ice the fish every day. Clean the chef's office once a week. Clean the storage room once a week. And it's just like, I was like the intern.
Yeah.
But I can't complain because they paid me pretty well. And they kind of had to because the union and everything that in Vegas, there's like big labor union and everything like that.
Okay.
So I made out pretty well, but they wrote me pretty good. So after that, you go back to school.
Yeah. Well, how was Vegas in general? Did you even get to like experience any of Vegas, or
Not
were you
really,
just working?
Because
you're under 21.
Yeah, I was 19.
Yeah.
Everyone I worked with was 24, 25. All these guys are like going out all the time. Like, I lived near the Hard Rock.
Okay.
And it was horrible. The neighborhood I lived in was scary.
Okay.
But like literally, I would just go home and sleep, or just play video games, or like, and then go back to work. Like days off, I would go out and do a couple things, but
yeah,
you can't do anything with these guys because all they do is go out. These guys were like 23, 24, all they want to do is go out.
Yeah.
Or gamble or whatever, go out to the clubs. And it's like, I can't do any of that.
So you're the 19-year-old kid who's just like, oh, right.
I mean, the one time I sneaked over to the Hard Rock on Halloween, got a little drunk, but that was pretty much it.
Nice.
So then we go back to school, and you got to finish up your program.
Yeah.
For another year or so, and then they called me, or I was in contact with the guys there, and they wanted me to come back.
Yeah.
So I moved back out to Vegas.
Oh wow.
Me and my brother took a trip, drove out there, and moved in with the buddies.
Nice.
That I worked with before, and stayed working there. The restaurant was Bradley Ogden's.
Okay.
He's Bradley Ogden's from Michigan. He's got restaurants all over California, and then he opened his namesake restaurant in Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
So, and just the guys that worked there came from Charlie Trotter's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best restaurants in America.
Yeah, it's
at the time.
Yeah.
Just come from all over, and it was just ridiculous, So I came back. I worked there for another, I don't know, year or two.
Okay.
It was a sous chef title, but basically they put us on salary, gave us the title of sous chef, so they could work us more without paying us more as much. So, but I mean, it was good for resume and just being in there was every day.
You're learning on the go.
So before I left, I was on the grill station, and it wasn't a steakhouse, but steak dominated the restaurant as far as sales.
Which makes sense, I guess, for Vegas. You assume that.
So I mean, just cooking 200 steaks every night.
Jesus.
Just, and everything, it's not just, everything was ridiculous in the preparation and the plating and all that stuff. So, it was pretty crazy. And then the executive sous chef left to go to MGM Grand to be the chef at Michael Mina's Nob Hill restaurant.
Okay.
So, I went over there with one other guy, and I worked the grill there for a while. And, after about a year, I ended up going to. Well, I stayed there, and I also worked in the morning. Mario Batali opened a restaurant at the Venetian, so I started working in the mornings as a butcher.
Jesus.
Because at the restaurants, I got to break down all my steaks and everything for my station.
Yeah.
So and I'm pretty interested in all that.
Yeah.
So I would go over there in the morning at 8 a.m. and we do all sorts of preparation. They had rabbit, we had to break down chickens.
Yeah.
But there was 2 restaurants there. One of them was a fine dining restaurant, B&B.
Okay.
Batali and Bastianich. Bastianich is his business partner.
Yeah, yeah.
Lydia Bastianich, Joe Bastianich's mother,
does
the wine.
Okay.
So Batali and Bastianich are partners, B&B. Downstairs in the Venetian, the fine dining, pretty much pasta, Italian food.
Yeah.
And then in the kitchen was in the middle floor, and then in the upstairs kitchen was Enoteca San Marco, basically really, really casual.
Okay.
Wood fire pizza or pizzas, pastas, salumis, gelato.
Nice.
This place was pretty intense. They had girls coming in just to make gelato in the morning. They had a guy that came in just to make salumis.
Wow.
And they had a room that we'd hang them all in. So I would break down the meat and grind it all and put the seasoning in. And he would, stuff it or hang it to dry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just tons of different things. We'd get pig heads. Every part of the pig would come in.
Yeah. So I mean, you really familiarized yourself with with a lot of
lamb,
different
beef, dry-aged beef, everything. And then kind of was getting not sick, but a lot of these guys that worked in the restaurants out there were so many places to work.
Yeah.
So many good things to see. It's I didn't want to stay in one place for too long.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So after a while at Nob Hill, I was still working in the morning, and then I went to, they opened the Palazzo Hotel. It's built onto the Venetian.
Okay.
So I decided if I go there, I could just be in the same place, just go down the hall and be there all day, because Wolfgang Puck opened Cut Steakhouse.
Okay.
Cut Steakhouse is in LA. It's a really nice steakhouse. And then the one they opened in Vegas was like double the size, like double the quantity of everything.
Yeah.
And so I'd go there in the afternoon, right downstairs, and work there. My roommate kind of got me hooked up with it because he went there when they opened to be a server.
Yeah. And
the pastry chef was the pastry chef from Nob Hill.
Okay.
So I kind of got my foot in the door there, and I was working the grill station, but I wasn't cooking the steaks. I was plating the steaks. And for like the first 2-3 days that they opened, the kid that was working the grill was just struggling because we're serving like 500 steaks every night.
Jesus.
So the second or third day, I was like, "Chef, let me work the grill one night." And he's like, "Oh, are you sure?" I was like, "Definitely." So I started working the grill, and like the first night I worked, like no steaks came back, and
nice.
like it was literally like 500 steaks.
Have you gotten to a point now where you can? I've heard that people can cook steaks who like have cooked them forever and look at the steak and know.
I don't know about that.
No. And like know how if it's well done.
I can touch a steak.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've worked the grill station.
Yeah.
But I could pretty much know, what's what.
Yeah.
And like you don't have time to put a thermometer in each steak.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Some steaks are thicker, some steaks are thinner.
Yeah.
And every steakhouse has their own signature thing that they do.
Yeah.
This steakhouse, we had like this secret rub that I didn't even know what it was. The sous chef or the chef made it in huge quantities.
Okay.
We'd coat the steaks with it, put it in the broiler. This broiler was like 1,200 degrees.
Jeez.
It would char the seasoning on the outside, and then we'd cook it on the wood fire grill. And I was pretty much in my own little world. I had my own little ticket machine.
Yeah.
And like nobody would talk to me, and I would just cook the steaks.
You just zone out.
Yeah, pretty much. I would just sing to myself and just talk to myself or whatever. And you kind of gotta be crazy when you cook like 500 steaks a night. People are like, "What's wrong with this guy?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just in the zone, just singing something," or I don't even have a radio on or anything. I'm just singing in my head or whatever.
That's gotta make the time just like fly by.
Yeah, and it's intense at times. Cooking a Japanese Kobe steak that's $200-something.
Yeah, it's
like, oh, I better not fuck this up. So it's like, gotta make sure everything's good. But that's the thing about cooking steaks. Like, obviously, you cook 500 steaks, you're bound to mess something up. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people come and order, but they don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
They say they want a medium rare, but they don't know what a true medium rare is, or
they think like what they cook at home is
exactly
medium rare.
Like one of my dad's friends, I remember I went to his house and he bought like this really nice fillet, and he had cut it all up into steaks, and he's like, "Oh, how do you want your steak? I'm gonna cook everything like medium well for everybody." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "I like mine like mid rare." So he's cooking it, and he cuts it open, and thing's like well done. He's like, "Oh, that looks good for you, huh?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it looks great." It's like people don't know what they really want.
No.
So it's when a steak comes back, it's like you kind of like it's like you got punched in the face. Like, oh, geez, I feel so bad. I messed this guy's steak up, and you look at it, and you're like, "That's perfect. What's this guy talking about?" And obviously you're gonna take credit for your work and be like stand up for it, but a lot of times it's like, that's really close, and he doesn't really know what he wants, and this.
Yeah,
and that.
Exactly.
So then from there, one of the guys I met at the first restaurant I worked at in Vegas, he was from Dallas, and he was already back in Dallas, and I was kind of sick of Vegas. Needed to get out of there for a couple different reasons.
Kind of an interesting place to live.
It's a difficult place to live for a 22-year-old. Let's just put it like that. So, I turned 21 in Vegas, and
God help you.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm glad you made it alive.
So, I was looking for, my parents wanted me to come back here.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I was like, I don't really want to be the guy that had to come crawling back home. That was just kind of like my mentality or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was talking to my buddy, and he's like, "Yeah, we're opening a restaurant." I'm like, "Oh, cool." I was talking to him, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get out of Vegas." He's like, "Oh, well, why don't you come down and help me out?" I'm like, okay. And like my lease was up in my apartment for like, it was like August. My lease was up in October. I'm like, "Oh, this is perfect. Give me enough time." He's like, "All right, I'll do it. I'm down." So packed up my stuff, moved to Dallas. I moved in with this guy. He owned a house, and he was taking a restaurant and renovating it and rebuilding it right outside of Dallas in Rockwall, Texas.
Okay.
Pretty small, really country town. I mean, we were trying to do some pretty fancy food for these people. So I moved down there. The restaurant, like most restaurants, got pushed back.
Yeah.
So at the time, he had set me up at this place in uptown Dallas called Hotel Zaza. There's 2 of them, one in Dallas, one in Houston. Really small boutique hotel, only one restaurant.
Oh, wow.
We did all the catering. They do crazy costume parties and pool parties and everything. It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And the chef there, young guy, he was my age. It was just so weird when you hear people in Texas married at age 20. He was 21 years old, had a 4-year-old kid. He was already married for 2 years. I'm
wow.
What the hell? But it was so many people down there get married so young.
Yeah. I also feel like that would be the polar opposite of the people you experienced at Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Well, they might have kids that they just don't know about. So, so I'm down there working with, and this guy was extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Extremely talented, and just me and him kind of clicked right away, because some of the guys that worked there were just, having a job.
Yeah.
They didn't really care. So me and him did all the specials and did all this cool stuff. He actually, now I still talk with him. He's opening a food truck in Dallas right now.
Nice.
Called Unforsaken Bacon.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've been talking with him, giving some pointers.
Nice.
Man, you should be paying me for all this.
You should be a food truck consultant.
Exactly. I was like, man, this is a lot of consult, because I was telling him all the troubleshooting that we went through and all the things that I've seen and on our truck. Not necessarily with the food wise, because he knows how to cook.
Yeah.
Just how to cook for a fast line. He's a fine dining chef.
Yeah.
And it's don't cook for fine dining. You got to cook for speed. Mm-hmm. Just different things on his truck that will relieve a lot of headaches. Yeah. Just different things of what kind of generator to get, what kind of, everything.
Well, I mean, you guys, I think I talked to Pete about this, just from the first truck to the second truck, when you guys bought that second one, mm-hmm. there's all these differences that you guys knew, no, we want to have it this way, I want to have, the station set up.
Yeah.
It's just, things you learn.
Even on the new truck, there's a lot of headaches. So, hopefully we get it right for the third one. But, I mean, a lot of headaches on the second truck, but it's way better than the first one.
Yeah, I bet.
And we were kind of, I don't want to work on this new truck. I'm used to the old one.
Yeah.
And now it's I don't want to work on the old one. I'm used to the new one. So we just kind of have to get used to everything. Once you get used to stuff, you get a system down. Yeah. It took a couple. I mean, I remember our first day on the new truck. We went to AAA in Amherst, and it was a disaster. We couldn't figure out how to do how we were going to work it, because the way the inside of the truck was lined up was just way different. And we were just bumping into each other. The fans weren't working, and it was in the middle of summer, and it was so hot. And it was me, Pete, and Chris, and we were just all aggravated with each other. But now it's that truck's works pretty good.
Yeah, you guys serve it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So in Dallas, how's that go? When you guys finally get that place open?
So yeah, finally, well, the hotel was only supposed to have me on for a certain amount of time. Yeah. And they're all right, we can't have you work here anymore. I was you're only supposed to be here for this long. I was the chef was I can't have you here anymore. So I was collecting unemployment, which was not a bad thing.
Yeah, I know.
So I was just kind of hanging out, helping the other guy open. So I pretty much saw the whole opening of the restaurant, the construction, setting up a staff. Yeah. All this stuff. So I was the sous chef there. And I knew going into it I wasn't going to be there forever, but I didn't know how long I was going to stay, this and that. Yeah. So, really, really, really small kitchen. But the place was pretty awesome how they built the inside of the dining room. They had a chef's table.
Oh, nice.
Open kitchen. Right in front of the kitchen was a little chef's bar, 5 seats, where people could sit literally from me to you, watching us cook, and we just put up whatever we wanted. Nice. We had a tasting menu, this and that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool, but that was a lot of work. And we were only doing dinner at the time. And I was coming in early. I was making all the fresh pasta. I was cutting all the meat. We were making every dessert in-house.
Jeez.
All the ice creams, all the bread, everything. Everything was made in-house in this tiny little kitchen. just like a couple of us. It was a lot of work. And then they're like, well, we need to open for lunch because we need to start making some more money.
Yeah.
So now it's like, you got to come in 2 hours earlier and you get 4 hours less time to prep for dinner. I'm just like, oh, man. So I worked there for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I got to go home. So I moved back to Long Island where my parents were.
Okay.
But like literally like the day I moved back, my parents were like in the process of selling their house to move back to Buffalo. So I didn't even bother looking for a job. I was just living at home like a bum. And, you know, my brother lives down there and I know a bunch of friends down there. So I was hanging out with them for about a month or two.
Yeah.
And then came up here and I was just looking for something to do. And I was living at my mom's apartment and wasn't in dire need of money.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, you know, I was just looking at Craigslist.
Yeah.
And saw Fiamma Steak was hiring.
Okay.
So I went over there and I was working there only like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then like the other kid that worked there, he's like, well, this guy wants to work, all right. So I started working like every day of the week.
Nice.
Or like, you know, 5 days a week, 6 days a week there. And I
mean, I guess the steak background probably helped.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, I mean, it was just Noel. He's the owner.
Yeah.
He owns Bambino.
Yeah, yes.
And the chef. And then there was, like, one other guy in the kitchen. And they needed somebody because somebody had just left. So I was in there helping them out and ended up being a job for a while. But I was just, after Vegas and all that, like, since I've been like 15, 16, I was like so gung-ho about fine dining and this and that.
Yeah.
And just realized like so much work and so much like unnecessary like stress.
Yeah.
And just like all this stuff, you know. I was like, you know, I love cooking, but I don't know if the fine dining is for me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I've done it already and it's like I'm so burnt out on it. And I don't know, I kind of wanted to do like, I've always wanted to do like a restaurant or something that would end up on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That's like, people make fun of that guy.
Guy Fieri.
But that's like my favorite show.
That's some good watching, man.
I mean, that's just what I wanted. Like, there's nothing that makes me more happy than like cooking for like my family.
Yeah.
Or like, I would love doing staff meal.
Yeah.
Just like cooking whatever is around. Just something, you know, nothing crazy. And so like, I always want to do like a burger joint or a deli. I worked at a deli when I was at college.
Yeah.
And just like, we were crazy busy. We were right in the middle of 3 colleges. Yeah. And I would work there at like 6 a.m. doing like breakfast sandwiches and just nonstop. Me and this one Mexican guy. This guy was ridiculous how fast he could cook these breakfast sandwiches. And like, I'm like, man, I need to open a deli, you know?
Yeah.
Or I wanted to do something, a deli or a pizza shop or something. You know, I don't think I would ever open a pizza shop here in Buffalo. It's like, there's one on every corner.
Yeah,
it's like, how could you compete?
Yeah.
So, you know, and then I'm like, food trucks are coming along, you know. I didn't really know anything about food trucks.
Yeah.
So, and it was weird. It was so weird. Me and my dad were talking about it, and he's like, my dad's like so supportive. He wants to like, everything I do, like he'll come to Lloyd every time he's in town.
Nice.
He wants to come to all the events that we do, the Big Fuss and the Nickel City. He wants to come to everything. He's like so into it and all that. And he's always like, let's open a restaurant. He's like, I'll be the money guy and the business guy. You just do the cooking. I'm like, I could barely live with you. Now you want me to work with you? I was like, I don't know about that. So, you know, we're just talking about food trucks one day. And I'm like, so I hang up the phone with him. I'm like, you know, I Googled food trucks and like, you know, some stuff came up. And then I see this thing in Buffalo. I'm like, what the heck is this, taco truck? And like literally, like the day they posted for this job was like the day I Googled it.
Wow.
And they posted, now hiring. I'm like, all right. So I sent my resume in.
Yeah.
And like 2 days later, I was at Spot Coffee with Pete and Chris. And I was like, you know, they're looking at my resume like, you want to work on a taco truck? I was like telling them, I'm like, you know, I've been doing this for so long. And I was still at Fiamma.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I want to come check it out. I really want to know what it's about. I want to open a food truck, you know, maybe, or whatever. You know, I just want to see what it's all about. So I started working there. And then it ended up being like Monday through Friday for lunch. And like at 2 o'clock, I'd split out and go back to Fiamma. But it was like, back then it was like just me and Pete
Yeah.
At the time, it was just like two of us.
Yeah, I mean,
Pete would be taking the orders and helping me out, and I'd just be like running around, rolling the burritos and like.
Yeah, for the first, like, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, like, you three were, like, the only people I knew on that truck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there really was only, like, 3-4 guys.
Yeah.
So, and then we got that guy, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave came over, and it was pretty much us three, and Chris was doing a lot of prep at night, and Chris was pretty much doing all the big stuff.
Yeah. And there was a period where he was still at Wegmans.
Yeah, he was at Wegmans, but he was, he would come at night. Yeah. He would go shopping with him and his wife would come and, like, make the stuff at night, and he would do all the cooking of the beef and the pork and all the big projects, the sauce and everything. Like, I barely saw Chris. Like, in the first 3-4 months I worked there, I saw Chris like 5 times. It's like, who is this guy? Oh, he's the owner. But so at like 2:00 we'd be done with service and coming back. I'm like, I gotta go. Pete's like, oh, can you help me unload the truck, clean up? I'm like, oh man. So I like scramble over to Fiamma and like pass out in my car for like 5 minutes, and then be like, oh, I gotta go to work, and then go in there, and then like the worst was like the summer when I worked in there in the summer at both places.
Oh god.
Because the first truck we got is just unbearable hot. There's no ventilation. That was one of the things they're fixing, is putting some more ventilation in there.
Thank God.
But it was like so hot, and then go to Fiamma. By far the hottest kitchen I've ever been in my life.
Really?
And it was just like, oh my God, all day. So I was just drained every day. And then the first summer, Pete and Chris got married in Hawaii.
Yeah. So
I took like 2 weeks off of Fiamma to like run the truck with Pat and this guy Dave. And they're like, we want you to come here, full time work. And I was like, I don't know, blah blah. And then after like a week, they were still in Hawaii. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so I pretty much quit Fiamma after like 2 weeks, and then started working there full time.
Damn, and that's how you got to where you're at now, man.
And then it just kept growing and growing, and we were doing a lot of things, and it was just like, it's like, do I want to work at a taco truck? And it's like, well, yeah. I mean, we're doing all sorts of cool stuff. It's like, people love us.
Yeah, man.
It's like, it's not like, we get a lot of recognition. It's like we do that big fuss. That was really cool last year. Go do that thing with all those chefs in Buffalo that people know.
Yeah.
Steve and Bruce and
some of the
Jim from
guys.
Shango and all those guys. It's like, wow.
I can't wait for the one coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. And then we got the chance to do Nickel City.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I didn't really know anything about torches. And that was cool. He was real cool about it. We met him at the Soup Fest in the winter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he came up, introduced himself. He's like, yeah, you guys need to come into the restaurant, and we'll talk about Nickel City. We'll talk about how it's going. We'll have a beer or whatever. And we went over there, and he cooked us a 4-course tasting.
Damn.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, he's got some skills, JJ, and his brother Kevin. They're pretty legit.
Yeah, it was funny, though, because we sat at the bar, and he's like, oh, just come in, and I'll talk with you. So I didn't eat anything, because I was like, well, what if he sends us a couple things? Chris ate like a full dinner with his wife, and we go in there, and he sends us 4 courses, and I'm mowing down. Chris is like, oh, God. He's like, I don't want to be rude, but he's like, I got to try it. But, yeah, it was really good. And then we sat there and talked to them, and went over a bunch of stuff, and then we did the contest, and it was a pretty good time.
Yeah, you guys.
I mean, I was pretty nervous. Like,
so I mean, how did you guys prepare for that? Like,
it's hard to prepare for a mystery.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, like just like working on like how you guys were gonna set it up, like because you were basically the grill man. At that part too. I saw you working the stove.
Yeah. Well, Chris obviously went to culinary school, or he went to baking school.
Yeah.
And he worked as a pastry chef, so I wasn't even about to touch the dessert. We kind of collaborated on the appetizer.
Yeah.
And the entree was, he took the dessert, I took the entree.
Yeah.
We kind of, put all our ideas. I mean, it was his contest. I was his sous chef.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was, at the end, his word. But, we kind of, that's, how we do a lot of the things on the truck, the specials and stuff like that, especially now. They're doing a lot of, different things to take care of for the new truck and this and that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of stepping up a little bit as, Chris still cooks and everything like that. But a lot of the things we kind of collaborate on, like the new tofu dish the tofu taco we're doing right now. I was like, I kind of got inspired by. I had some tofu at Wegmans. They got that food like buffet thing, salad bar thing, and they had this tofu and like this Thai sauce. I'm like, oh, it's good. It was like, I think it was just sweet chili sauce. I was like, we should do some tofu. I was like, we got so many vegetarians that come in the truck. I was like, we got to do it. And, I said it. And then, like, it was a couple weeks later. I'm like, let's just do it. And he's like, all right, let's do it. And, like, so I said what I wanted. And then I said something about the sauce. And then he added an ingredient. So now the sauce was like a combo. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, well, what should we put on top? The cabbage, like normal? And he's like, oh, let's do the pickled cucumbers. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So it was pretty much a collaboration there. That's and like, awesome. A lot of the stuff is, Chris's stuff. But, he'll come to me and say, what do you think, blah, blah, blah. And we'll just shoot ideas off each other. And that's what we're in the process of doing now for the big fuss.
Yeah.
Like, he came up with something. I'm not even going to release that yet. Oh. But, he came up with something and then, like, I was like, well, okay, let's do this and this, and we, it's a pretty good relationship on how we work like that.
Yeah. I mean, the what is it, the Dirty South? That thing. The
Dirty South. Yeah, that was a pretty much collaboration, too, because we were like, Pete has been wanting to do this.
A friend.
He wanted to do a barbecue chicken finger taco forever. And I'm
really?
Like, well, we're in Buffalo. It's like either like a Frank's, like Buffalo chicken finger taco or something. It's like, all right, well,
I remember the April Fool's joke of
that was horrible. I felt so bad. somebody came and was like, let me order that. I'm like, oh, that was April Fool's joke. He's like, my wife is pregnant and she wanted it so bad. I'm like, oh man, I felt so bad.
Allie was like heartbroken. Like I had to like set her down and be like, it's April Fool's. Like, you gotta realize this.
Yeah, but I mean,
so the Dirty Bread, how did that happen?
So, but like Chris has been saying, he's like, Pete wanted to do it. He's like, so we're going to wait for Pete to officially come out and do it. And he's like, dragging his feet on it. We're like, well, we want to bring a chicken dish to the birthday party.
Yeah.
Because we had the ribeye taco, which we had done for our Kickstarter tasting.
Okay.
The tofu one we had run once before. The El Pastor, which is traditional, but Chris has been manning that one, and that's really good.
I like that.
That's probably one of our better specials, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then he's like, we need to do something with chicken. And I'm like, well, let's do a chicken and waffle taco. And they're like, what? I'm like, you never had Roscoe's chicken and waffles? They're like, no. Oh, I mean, it's like pretty much an LA thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, when I was working at MGM Grand, I would right next door is like the huge studio cafe where they feed like all day long, like 24 hours, like humongous kitchen.
Yeah. And
they had waffle irons. So I would, on Sundays when the chef was off, because we were slow on Sundays, me and this other guy would make family meal for everybody. We always had chicken legs left, so I'd marinate them in buttermilk and do fried chicken.
Nice.
And then the one day I was like, let's do chicken and waffles. So I made waffles. Nice. But for the taco, we made like almost like a waffle dough, but we made it like on a pizzelle machine.
Yeah.
Little cookies. Because I was like, how are we going to do that? We're going to make like a waffle shell? I was like, what are we going to do? So I was like, well, let's do like butterfried chicken strips. And then Chris had the bacon aioli dressing idea.
Nice.
And then I was like, well, we need some sort of crunch on there. So I did like the waffle crisps as like a crunch.
And
then then Chris went to Ol's Farms and got the baby kale, which really set it off.
That stuff is ridiculous.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
So how have you enjoyed, like, obviously you like the different atmosphere of the kitchen as opposed to fine dining.
Mm-hmm.
But in a taco truck, you're also working the front of the store too.
Yeah,
how has that been like?
Like I kind of got a feel for that. Like when I was telling you the place in Dallas, we had that chef's bar.
Yeah,
we had like a bunch of people that would come in and like would want to sit there.
Yeah,
and it's like we're sitting there cooking, and like I swear like a sailor, it's like you gotta like watch what you say and stuff like that. And these people are right there, and you gotta kind of like put on a show. Yeah, but you gotta be professional and talk and like I would put up stuff and like the waiter would bring their food to them and like I would have to explain it and just talk to people and you know, I don't know how comfortable I would be, like, standing up in front of, like, a huge room of people.
Yeah.
But, like, talking to people, like, one-on-one, taking their orders, and, like, you know, we're not, like, so, like, fancy where, like, you know, everything has to be proper. Like, we can joke around with people.
Yeah.
And, like, there's so many people, like, I see you and all these people I know, like, every time. So it's like, you know, you build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons, you know, I mean, obviously our food people come back for.
Oh, yeah.
And the atmosphere of the food truck. And when we're at a bar or whatever, people are there.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, we build relationships with people. And I could probably name 75% of the people that have come more than once. Yeah. I know them by their name, and they're like, "You remember my name?" I'm like, "Yeah."
That's awesome. I mean, you guys have developed like a really dedicated fan base, and it's really impressive.
That's like one of the things that like I like about it is that there's people like so devoted to it. It's like, honestly, I don't know if I would ever wait in a line for 20 minutes, 30 minutes for anything. It's like, I'll go somewhere else, you know? It's
yeah.
I don't know, like...
Yeah. But I was at like Albright Knox like a couple nights ago, and that line was the longest one out of all the food trucks, and like there's people who are just pumped to get some tacos.
Yeah, and it was raining, it was cold.
Yeah.
And like I didn't work the Boulevard Mall, but they were saying that there was an hour wait. Damn. That's like old school Maine and Mohawk days when people will wait an hour. They're like, how do you even have an hour lunch break? You got to walk here, wait in line, then get your food, and then eat it, and then walk back?
Yeah.
Like, how do you even have time for that? It's like, oh, tell the boss I'm going to be late. I'm going to get Lloyd. Oh, okay.
That's great.
But, I mean, it's so amazing how people, you know, line up and, you know, and I love it. Like, there's a lot of times where it's, you know, stressful, but... I don't know. Probably the worst part is like, not the worst part, but dinner time sometimes.
Yeah.
Everyone like at Maine and Mohawk or like some of the lunch spots, they'll order for themselves 2 tacos, 3 tacos, a burrito, whatever.
Yeah.
Take it and go. Like some of the nighttime things, people come for their whole family, and it's like, oh, I need this, and this. Want it bagged up, and it's like that's kind of what slows it down.
Okay.
I mean, it's not even that big of a deal. I just feel bad sometimes. And it's like people come, like today at North Point, people come with big orders for their office, which is great. You know, they're coming to get food for everyone. Kind of sucks that they're the short straw in the stack that they got to come get it or whatever. And maybe they like to get out of the office for a little bit. Yeah. But I feel bad. But at the same time, it's like, well, everybody's ordering a big order, so they can't feel bad about waiting in line when they're doing the same thing. Exactly. But you know, like I just feel bad because usually, you know, like Maine and Mohawk, we're so busy, but we can crank through so many people because it's just quick. Yeah. And that's what I'm used to. So like when we're dragging like doing big tickets, it kind of, you know, it's like, oh geez, you know, I feel bad, but at the same time it's like
So I mean, you said how you've worked competitions, and this is going to go up the day before your competition at Nickel City Firing Line, right? Yes. Yeah. And, I mean, you have your experience at Nickel City Chef. Like, do you feel pretty prepared for your upcoming challenge? Or
that's the thing. It's like, how can you prepare for a mystery? True. A mystery basket. Yeah. It's like, you know, I've been watching Chopped on Food Network. I recorded a bunch of them, and I'm watching them. I'm like, you know, let me watch some of these shows and, like, see how they do, you know. Like, and, like, when they open their basket, I'll pause it and be like, all right, what are you going to make? I'm like, oh, geez. Like, the one I watched is like, I don't know if this helped me or hurt me. Like, I got so nervous after the first one because it was like, they had conch and, like, pink peeps, the little marshmallows. I'm like, are you kidding me? And, like, a couple other things. I'm like, I don't know what I would have done. I'm like, oh my god.
You're like, getting anxiety watching people have to decide these things.
I'm like, oh my god, what the hell am I going to do? And it's like, so the first dish, I got to talk to Krista more about it. Yeah. And get all the details about it. It's like, they want you to do an appetizer, and I think you can prepare for that one.
Yeah, it's basically, I think it's supposed to be like something that represents you. Like,
yeah, but like there was some stipulations on the money or how much you can spend. Am I supposed? I gotta talk to her about that. Yeah. Get the details before.
Yeah, you can't buy like a whole like T Meadow Farm pig or something. Yeah,
like you might just buy a huge lobster like somebody I know. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just cool, you know, to get the recognition and be up there with those guys and whatever.
Yeah, you got some good competition. It looks like. Got some talented
it
dudes.
should be cool. Should be a cool thing. I mean,
I will be there. I believe I'll be the official tweeter of
official tweeter.
Yeah, so I'll be tweeting out pictures and stuff like that.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the first dish, once I figure out what I'm doing, it'll just be like, boom, just nerves go away once you start. But the second dish, I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. If I make it that far.
That'll be exciting. But.
Yeah. So it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, well, Teddy, thank you so much for coming down here, man, and doing this.
Absolutely.
It was good hearing your story, and I always enjoy seeing you on the truck. You're one of my favorite guys to see up there and talk to, and thank you for coming down here, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right.